how would you introduce Renaissance Club?
One line I've been saying recently is, if life had a surprise me button, this would be it. We're a membership service, which sends members on a unique mystery experience, prepaid each month, everything from archery to pottery, cooking classes, kayaking, blacksmithing, helicopter flight lessons, and 100 other experiences.
What were your biggest concerns when searching for a dev team?
Biggest struggle was figuring out how to build a system that filters and organizes data in such a way that reduces complexity and makes doing this at scale possible. So my biggest concerns was finding someone who isn't merely just an engineer, but an actual data scientist and a systems expert who can think big and can hold in their minds the immense complexity of, how such a system can actually be designed most efficiently in reality, rather than just in theory.
Yeah, and beyond the tech, were you looking for someone who could also maybe understand the business side as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, looking for someone who just has the most holistic view possible of, down to every line of code, all the way out to the emotional human experience and everything in between, end to end, is just so important, because it's not enough to just have a generalist, and it's not enough to just have like sort of a sniper expert. I think having people who can really fill both roles is a unicorn, but it's really important.
And why did you ultimately choose DataCose?
I chose DataCose because I felt like I got that. I felt like I was getting, a team that had specialized experts and a generalist holistic understanding of what we're really trying to accomplish, which isn't just lines of code. We're trying to actually create an emotional experience for people and provide value for people. And I felt that, you and everyone at the team, I felt so taken care of. And I just felt like it was a very, natural process.
And can you maybe tell us what kind of tech we built for you? What solution in the end have we built?
DataCose literally built, we built everything together. It's not like I had, a whole platform half ready to go and then you guys just improved it. When Renaissance Club started, it was Google Docs, and I was sending emails and putting things in Google Sheets, spreadsheets. Post was in it from the very, very ground floor. Literally none of this was possible without you and your incredible team. So we started with this sort of hybrid Airtable custom platform approach, where it was sort of like Airtable, but souped up with a custom platform. And after 2.5, 3 years, we are now building a completely custom platform. And that's the only thing that's allowed this to even happen.
It's something about the flexibility, the kind of, it's kind of scrappy, no question, in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Trying to bring something to market, try to just make something work. And, of course, there are like funding constraints that are legitimate, time constraints. There are all these tight constraints. And we're trying to balance building the best product for the cheapest price, the fastest time. Maybe can you talk a little about that and how DataCose could help you in this way?
This was a relatively radical idea, and there was no really blueprint for this. So DataCose was absolutely essential in being ultra flexible, and we were really just trying to build that minimum viable product that people can use. You and Wouter were instrumental in helping me even decide what should go, what should ship, and what should stay, what we should push to later, what's less important, what's more important, what's crucial. And that was just a lot of conversation, a lot of talking, and just a lot of big picture thinking and creative thinking before anything was even built. This was really like a absolutely untouched lump of clay. I think with other products, there's often a roadmap. There's often like many people who have done it before, so you kind of have like, okay,
Yes.
this is what we should clearly build, and then here's our differentiator, and so we'll ship that to market. And oftentimes the difference is really more in the marketing than it is in the thing itself. Like an insurance company is an insurance company. They all work the same, but the terms are different, or a real estate business or whatever. But with us, we're actually like building a completely new product.
Yeah. That's right. What quantifiable improvements have you seen since implementing?
382% in the last year alone. When we started, we were struggling to get, 20 or 30 paying members for over a few months. And today we have over 500 active recurring members, nearly 600 now. And we've had more than 1,000, members total since we started. And, we're currently generating roughly 50,000 a month in gross revenue. We're generating tens of thousands of dollars per month for small local businesses and vendors. So we're really bolstering small local businesses, which is a huge piece of why we exist, to help not just members, but vendors who people normally wouldn't stumble on. And I'd say what I'm most proud of, though, is that we have so many members who have been with us for over a year, and some for more than 2 years now. And this shows me that what we've built is not merely a fun sounding idea, but one that delivers consistent value that makes people keep coming back.
No, that's incredible. You maybe share a story about working with DataCose.
It's hard to even share one story because there's just so many examples. Like DataCose has consistently gone above and beyond in every way imaginable. And I think what I love most about this team is that, you don't feel like for-hire robots who merely do whatever I ask and just execute. Every team member treats this project like an owner. You're incredibly engaged, no egos. We very much have this best idea wins mentality, and no one's afraid to disagree if anyone feels something can be better or done more efficiently or effectively. And everyone at DataCose is just firing on all cylinders in discipline, attention to detail. And you guys have just been incredibly generous and honest, which is invaluable for a first-time solo founder, bootstrapping the cost of everything. Transparency and honesty is enormous. You just make people feel super safe with that. So it's not really a story, but it's really more just like, just a constant tone of gratitude.
No, absolutely. No, this is like something we take really seriously. Maybe a couple additional thoughts. I can feel the same way too from the same team, right?
Yeah.
That I know that if something breaks, I can trust them to go handle it. Like you and I are on the same side of this.
Coin. Absolutely. Yeah. And to be fair, I did interview, I found you guys on Upwork, and I did interview probably 4 or 5 people. But after talking to you, I definitely by far felt the most confident. And maybe this is a sort of a story of sorts. I remember distinctly that everyone else I had interviewed very quickly was like, oh, yeah, we can do that. No problem. And that's usually a red flag for me when I'm like, I don't think you actually heard what we're trying to build. I don't think you actually truly listen to me, because if you're very quick to say, of course we can do it, no problem, that's usually sort of like, and you, I remember being very thoughtful and kind of like really considering everything I was saying and kind of being cautious and slow with what's possible and what's, really deeply trying to understand. And this was back when, it was just the very first iteration. Renaissance Club has evolved tremendously since since we started, but even that first idea was quite complex. And you really were so transparent with, here's what I think we can build, and but it's going to take a lot of talking and back and forth. And there was not this sort of like, oh yeah, just pay up, relax for 2 months and we'll have it done. It was like, this is going to be a consistent conversation, and there's a lot of unknown unknowns. And that really gave me the confidence that you're really listening, and you're really, trying to stay aligned with me and not just sort of sell, just get a paycheck.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Thanks. I definitely remember that first conversation too.
Yeah. It felt like many conversations kind of summed into one.
That's right. Thanks so much, Mike.